Well, that was interesting. So I went on my $1,000 date, and it was a lot shorter than I was intending it to be. And it worked out really well that way. So I get there, and it's this, it's this white guy that he really liked my eyes at work. He was like, you have a very intense stare. He was like, I really like your eyes. And he was like, I can really feel your energy. And I was like, okay, cool, And that's why he was like, you should see me later. And that's when I was like, well, I would love to if you would compensate me for my time. And he was like, yeah, of course. Whatever. He was like, money's not a problem. And a lot of people say that. This guy fucking meant it. Money was not a problem. So I get there at 10, maybe, probably about 10 o'clock, and he's in a robe. And I'm like, okay. Apparently he had just gotten out of the shower, and he takes me into his room. So at the hotel that he's at, he's got a massive fucking suite, and he takes me into his bedroom because on the other side of the suite, a friend of his is, fuck do I get out of here? His friend's sleeping. So I'm like, whatever, no big deal. I'm just gonna, everything's fine. So we go into the room and we sit down and just start talking. And I'm cold and he can tell I'm cold. So he gets me a jacket or a robe, super, super soft robe. And and I'm like, okay, this is, it's really nice. Okay, we're sitting there talking for a while. His friends come up. We were supposed to go to a Cardi B concert. He's on the way to right now. And he's with two black guys, a Jewish guy. I don't know what the other guy is. And it's a very eclectic looking group. I was like, how the fuck do you all know each other? Just because older guys, he even said it, he was like, older guys just don't make friends. Like, he was like, these are people that I've known for a long time and whatever. So I don't know what the fuck is taking these people so long. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So thank you. Thanks. So okay, so we're talking for a while, and then after a little while he's like, I want to see you naked. And okay, I did not ask him for the money. He just gave it to me. So I left my purse on his bed, and he went to the bathroom, and when he came back, he had a handful of hundreds, and he just opened up my purse and stuck it in my purse. And then he ended up telling me that he put 1,500 in there, and then he was like, I want to see you naked. And I was like, I was like, okay. I was like, I will dance for you, but I'm leaving my bottoms on. He was like, okay. He was like, no problem. He was like, I'm not trying to make you do anything you don't want to do. And I was like, okay. So oh, fuck. Thank you. So I start to dance for him. Everything was cool. Call me naive, call me whatever you want. When someone tells me they're gonna pay me to hang out, I'm assuming they're paying me to hang out, not to fuck them. So he says, after I've been dancing for him for like 15 minutes, everything was going okay. Like, everything was fine other than his cologne. I fucking hate cologne. But besides that, everything was fine. And he goes, so before we go, and I knew we were going to leave in like 10 minutes. He was like, so before we go, I want you to get me off. And, I want to see how you do it. And I was like, oh. I was like, I don't do that. And he was like, oh, really? And I got nervous. I didn't know what, like, he's a big guy. So I started to get a little bit nervous. And he goes, well, that doesn't work for me. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, you know, I didn't know what that meant. I was a little bit worried. If his friend hadn't been in the other room, I would have been more than just a little bit worried. Because he's got kind of like at first I thought he was sweet, and then looking at him, I was like, this motherfucker could be a psycho, and I don't know. Like, you know, there's situations that girls just get themselves into that aren't necessarily good ones, and I didn't know if I had just gotten myself in a situation like that. But I felt like he had too much to lose to fuck with me, but I didn't know that. So I was like, and I didn't know what to say, so I just kept dancing for him a little bit, and he went to stand up. So I'm dancing for him, and I get down on my knees, and he goes to stand up, and he's in his boxers, and he's like right in front of my face, and I was like, well, no. And I went and I stood up. I was like, I really don't. I was like, that's not what I do. And he goes, are you sure? And I was like, yes. I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And he was like, I really thought we had a connection. And I was like, I I don't have sex with people that I just met. Like, I just don't. I'm sorry. And he was a little bit surprised. I think he was actually very surprised. I think he's very used to getting what he wants. And he put his hands on my shoulder. Like, I was already standing up, and he, touched me, and he gave me a hug, and he was like, you're a really sweet girl. And I was like, I try. And he goes, no. He goes, you don't need to try. He was like, you're a really sweet girl. And he goes, okay. He was like, well, life's too short to ask somebody to do something that they don't want to do. So he was like, if you don't want to, he was like, but I'm telling you, you pumped the brakes on this one too fast. And he goes, I could have gotten this for $200, from someone else. And he was like, I gave you $1,500 because I want to see you again, and I don't want this to be a one-time thing. And I was like, I understand that, I appreciate that. I was like, but that's just not what I do. And he was like, okay. And he goes to get dressed. So now I'm like, okay, he's cool. And I'm worried. I was thinking at first, is he going to ask me for his money back or whatever? Because the last guy did, when he found out I wasn't going to have sex with him on my $500 date. I think I mentioned it in the last video. So anyway, he was totally fine and not upset at all. He made it a point to go into the safe and pull out a fucking fistful, the biggest fistful of hundreds I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody pull out so much fucking money before in my life, and I've seen some fucking money before. So I think he really wanted to make it clear, hey, you're fucking up. And it's not fucking up to me. I'm not into it. I'm not trying to fuck up my sex life, my personal sex life, for money. I'm just not. It'll make me unhappy, and I'd feel super gross doing it, and I'm just not, I'm not into it. So, I don't feel bad about it, and I did not want to go to that fucking concert. I did not want to go to that. If I was in the mood to get plastered, or if there were other recreational drugs that I could take to keep my ass awake, maybe. But there was nothing like that, and I was not trying to drink. I've already drank too much today. I had probably 2 or 3 glasses of champagne and tequila. I had this one drink that our bartender or waitress or whatever calls the Juicy or something like that. It's really, really good and has tequila in it, but it made me feel fucking sick. So by the time I got back to the apartment, right after I got back, I fucking threw up. I felt awful. So then when I get to this place, You know, now I don't have any food in my stomach, and he's like, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, I don't want to drink at all, but there was champagne there, so I was like, I'll just take champagne. So I'm drinking the champagne and my throat's burning because I just thrown up and I just felt awful. So I got out of another, like, Jesus fucking 4 hours just because I didn't want to get him off. And he was actually cool with it. And I told him, I was like, I would like to see you again. I don't want this, because like, you know, long-term clients are a really, 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 really good idea. I don't think he's gonna be one. But you never know. I mean, I've heard, honestly, one of the best things that girls can do to make guys fall in love with them is to say no to them. Because I don't think that this is gonna be, I don't know, because he's not used to having this go his way, or not go his way. So, you know, if there's some way I can figure out how to turn him into a client that just enjoys my time and me dancing for him and is okay with me not doing anything that I'm uncomfortable with, that I can get in legal trouble for, then that would be awesome, because this guy is clearly doing really fucking well for himself. I mean, from what he said, he paid for the entire trip for everybody. Like 4 or 5 different guys, paid for the hotel rooms, is paying for all the nightlife shit they're doing, like everything. Like, he's definitely doing okay. So anyway, I'm not disappointed at the way that this ended. I mean, as soon as he started to walk away to get dressed, I was like, holy shit, I think the night is over. Like, you know, I was sitting here trying to wake myself up, taking deep breaths, trying not to yawn because I was sleepy. I was starting to get hungry. You know, I'm glad it's over. He could tell I was tired. I even said, I was like, so I feel really bad that you thought more was gonna happen. I was like, I didn't know that you were expecting that. And he goes, don't feel bad. He was like, it's okay. He was like, I understand. And then he walked away again, went back to the bathroom to get his clothes or whatever. And I came in there and I was like, okay, I was like, be honest with me. I was like, I said, unless you want me to still go to this concert, I feel like I should just go, like, go home. And he was like, that's up to you. And he goes, I can tell you're tired. He was like, I mean, you were yawning earlier and whatever. And I was like, I feel like I should go. And he was like, okay. He was like, you don't have to feel bad about this. He was like, it's okay. So I ended up walking downstairs with them. I met all of his friends. I had met all of his friends at the club the other night. But ended up walking downstairs with them, and before we got to valet, I said goodbye. I was like, I'm gonna get something to eat and I'm gonna go. I was thinking about getting something to eat there. I'm not going to, I'm just going home. But he was like, if you're ever in the city he lives in, he was like, you know, hit me up. And I was like, okay. So we'll see. I have no idea if I'll ever see that man ever again or not, but it was an interesting experience nonetheless, and I just made $1,500, so I'm ecstatic. And I made my goal today. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Fuck yeah. I think I said I wanted to make $1,500. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. So anyway, okay, that was my day. I should go. Have a wonderful night. Talk to you later. Ciao.